77% of you are unsubscribed. Please hit the subscribe link below. This episode is called Naked Bad Sailor Explains Mental Health Discrimination to people who refuse to understand. So here's the thing, okay? So I'll use analogies because analogies work good, okay? So you're doing a contract, and you don't have glasses. You start the contract and you're working away, and you're finding that you have to really strain your eyes, and so you go to the eye doctor, and you get that you get the prescription. It's going to take a time to adjust to the prescription. You get your glasses. You come back. Oh, you got new glasses. Yes, I'm struggling a little bit with my sight. They gave me a prescription. It's going to affect a little bit of my work for a little bit of time, but I'll get used to my glasses, and then everything will be fine, and I'll continue to work. Okay, that usually works out fine. The employer's fine with that. You work away, and you're good to go. You may be a little bit slow for a couple of weeks or whatever adjustment time it takes depending on your glasses. Okay, so now let's change that. Let's say you're working away and a situation comes into your life that causes a trigger for you, and you need to take a little bit of time to go and deal with that. So you go to the mental health ward. You get checked in, you work through some of the things with them, you talk to counselors, they figure out what's wrong, they diagnose you, they give you some medicine, or if you are on some medicine, they adjust your medicine, and you continue, you then come out, and you are then able to continue working because the trigger has passed, and you've got an adjustment of your dose, and you can, it'll take a little bit of time to adjust to that dose. And so just like with the glasses, you have to adjust to that dose. Okay. Then you're working away until the next time you need a new prescription, right? Much like with your glasses, when you're working on computers, because you're working on computers, your eyesight is getting worse and worse and worse, and it'll get to the point where you're going to have to go and get another pair of glasses. You get another pair of glasses, you go through an adjustment period, and then you're working away, right? So same thing happens with your depression meds. Okay? The difference is when you go into the ward and you come back and you have your new meds and you say, hey, I'm going to have to adjust to my new meds. At that point, they're like, oh, as a capitalist, we need to make money in our company, and because of the fact that may be another episode, and we may lose a little bit of time if you have to go in the hospital for a week, and then a little bit of time as you adjust to your new meds, or there may not be a hospitalization, maybe it may be just an adjustment to the meds, and you're just telling them, hey, an adjustment to the meds. Right? The point being, with eyeglasses, no one comes to you and says, well, from a capitalist point of view, we can't have someone with glasses because, they're going to need more glasses, and there's more of a risk of them in our company. Okay? But I did, and even just a couple days ago, I just heard someone say exactly the same thing to me. They asked me about my story, and I told them, and I made sure I didn't mention any names of anything I'm not supposed to mention, but I told them, and they were like, well, that's because of capitalism, and, companies need to be productive, and, if someone has mental health issues, they're afraid of production. And it's like, well, okay, well, the same thing with glasses. If they know somebody jumps out of airplanes all the time, or they do ATV sports, or they do snowmobiling in the winter, or they own guns and go hunting, there's all those risks to capitalism too from all of those things. But companies don't say, hey, oh no, you're a gun owner and you can't work here because that's a risk to our capitalism. Because what happens if, you're out there and somebody shoots you in the leg and then you're off for a few weeks? That doesn't happen, but that happens with mental health. So to those people that are like, well, it's two different things. One thing is related to capitalism and the other one's not. No, it's not. As a bad sailor, I'm going to be honest with you and say, you are being a discriminating jerk, and you're using excuses to try and get around it. I hope my analogies have changed some people's minds as far as this discrimination, but, so far what I've found is companies, if you push them in public, and call them out in public, then they'll respond in public in a positive way and say, yes, we really do care about that. But then, when they're like, yeah, we'll reach out to you in private and we'll talk to you about that, you hear nothing. You hear silence. And then people are like, well, why don't you discuss it with people in private? Why do you have to push it out on social media? And it's like, well, because when you talk to people in private, they discriminate against you, and because it's in private, they don't have to worry about looking bad. But if you mention these things in public, then they have to respond in a positive light because they don't want their company to look bad. And so you do get positive type answers. So that's my spiel as the naked bad sailor. Hopefully you've learned from this about the difference in the way that people with mental health issues get treated differently than people with physical issues. That's it.